kids. I am so excited for Goo Online today. I hope you guys are too. We've got so much fun stuff jam-packed into today's video, and we've got an awesome game. We've got a great message. What else we've got? We've got some craft. We've got some worship as well. Oh, woo! Beautiful. I can't wait to carry on with the rest of the video. I think I'm most excited for the game. So let's not wait. Let's get straight on to today's game. Let's go!
Hey Goo Kids, it's Chloe here with today's game. Now, we're going to play one of my absolute favourite games, and that is charades. But we're not just going to play it, I'm going to teach you how to make it so you can do it with your friends and family at home. So all you need is some pieces of paper, and you're going to rip them up so they're nice and small, and then you're going to pick which category you want to do. Now you could do one category or you could do multiple categories. So we're going to do films. So on your piece of paper you will write different things that come under your category. So if we're doing films, Toy Story will be one. And another, Minions. I watched that the other day. So you write them on your pieces of paper like this. And then you get your pieces of paper and you scrunch them up nice to balls. And then when you're playing it, you'll have a nice pile of these. You'll pick one out, so I've picked this one for instance. And you won't show anyone else because they've got to guess it and you've got to act out for them. You'll open it up, you'll have a look what it says. Now you won't show them, but this one says Minions. And then you would act out something from that film. It could be a minion, it could be your favourite scene. And your family and friends have got to guess what it is. So, are we ready to play? Now, I picked the category of animals because I felt that would be quite an easy one because I'm probably not the best actor. So I've got all of mine scrunched up here. And what I'm going to do, put them here, and I'm going to pick them out, and then I'm going to act them, and you've got to guess what I'm doing. Okay? Let's try. Let's go for this one. Oh, here we go, right. Can you guess what I am? I'll do it once more. Now I'm going to tell you all the answers at the end, so keep thinking. Ready for the next one? Oh, this is a hard one. I'm going to start small. This is a hard one. So we're going to start nice and small. You're going to cocoon, and then we're going to burst out. Can you guess? Right, let's do this third one. Oh, I dropped one. I'll do the dropped one. Okay. Got big ears. Can you guess what I am? Right, we'll do another. Now this one's my favourite animal. Got long ears. Can you guess? We'll do one final one and then I'll give you the answers. Dropping these everywhere, Goo Kids. Oh, now this is a hard one. Ready? So, I live in the water. There's not really much else I can do, guys. Do you think you know? That was quite a hard one, so don't worry if you didn't get it. Right, let's find out which ones I did. So the first one was a fish. Number 2 was a butterfly. Number 3 was an elephant. Number 4, which is my favourite animal, is a rabbit. And then number 5, the hardest, was a starfish. How many did you guys get right? Don't forget to let us know on Instagram at icon.goo to see how many you got and have a go playing at home. You can take pictures of you doing some of them and send them to us so we can see. Have a brilliant rest of your Sunday, guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye!
Let's sing together. Salvation sounds a new beginning, as distant hearts begin believing. Redemption's bid is unrelenting. Your love goes on. Your love goes on. When the world gives way, you carry us with your endless grace. You carry us. Your love is relentless. Your love is relentless. Your love is relentless. Your love is relentless.
Hey Goo Online, we have got a super exciting series for you, a brand new series starting right now with yours truly. If you don't know me, where have you been? Just kidding, great to have you with us. My name's Jacob and we're starting a brand new series today. Now this series was inspired by our pastor, Mr. Paul Benger,
who was speaking in church a few weeks ago, and he kept saying the words, Solomon says. Okay, he kept saying the word Solomon says. And it reminded me of a game that we sometimes play. You might have played it. It's called Simon Says. If you've never played Simon Says, how it works is basically the leader will tell everyone what to do. If they say Simon says, you have to do it. So if it was like, let's pretend to play a little bit now. If it was like Simon says march on the spot, you'd have to march on the spot. If it was Simon says dab, you'd have to dab. If it wasn't Simon says, if it was just, so if it went like this, sorry, I've completely forgot to play the game, but I've just remembered, I'm still dabbing, I'm going to stop. So it was Simon says run on the spot, and then it was stop, and if you stopped, you'd be out. That's how Simon says works. So if Simon says it, you got to do it. If Simon doesn't say it, you ignore it. Okay, and that is why we're going to do this series, inspired by Paul, called Solomon Says. Now, this guy Solomon was a king. The king. Never mind. The King Solomon. And the reason that we're going to look at Solomon and what Solomon says is that Solomon wrote a book in the Old Testament of the Bible called Proverbs, and it is full of loads of good advice. Loads and loads of good advice. But the reason that Solomon wrote so much advice is that Solomon was told he could have anything in the world. God said to Solomon, what do you want? Now, if someone said to you, you can have anything in the world, what do you want? Most people will probably choose money or games or toys or new Fortnite skins. I heard that the Joker skin in Fortnite is very good. If you want to know the backstory, the inside story to that, ask Zion Benjamin next time you see him why the Joker skin is so good. But if someone said to you, you can have anything in the world, you'd probably choose something like that. But when God asked Solomon, what do you want? Solomon didn't ask for money. He didn't ask for a massive palace. He didn't ask for loads of stuff. Solomon said to God, I want wisdom. I want wisdom. Okay? So we're going to look at something that Solomon says each week in the book of Proverbs. We're going to take a different thing he says, and we're going to find a Bible story that matches with something he says so that we can help you and me and each other to have a little bit of the wisdom that Solomon had. So the first verse that we're going to look at is Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5, and it says this: Trust the Lord with all your heart and do not depend on your own understanding. Proverbs 3, verse 5. Trust the Lord with all your heart and do not depend on your own understanding. So we're going to go into the Old Testament to look at the story in the book of Daniel. It is Daniel and the lion's den. If you've never heard that story, you're in for a great time. If you've heard it before, you're still in for a great time because we're going to relive some of the story. There's no lions in the room, thankfully. I wouldn't be here if there was. I'd be very scared. But here's how it starts. So Daniel was a good man, loved God, prayed to God. 3 times a day he would go into a room, get down on his knees, and he would pray to God. Okay? Now Daniel was a supervisor for King Darius. What a great name. King Darius. King Darius had 3 supervisors, and one of them was Daniel. Okay? And Daniel was the best supervisor. He was so good that the king was about to promote him to top dog, not top dog, to top supervisor. He was the top dog, basically. He was going to rule over the kingdom for the king. He was going to be the king's right-hand man. Daniel was that good at being a supervisor. Okay, and I think part of that was because he prayed 3 times a day to God. Okay, so Daniel was this good. The other supervisors, they got a little bit jealous. Right, they were a little bit annoyed. They were like, Daniel is too good. We need to do something. We need to stop him. It's funny, isn't it? That whenever someone else is doing something good, we don't think, oh, maybe I should get better. We think, oh, I need to stop them being as good. Maybe someone's done that to you where you're really good at something, so they try and bring you down. Or maybe even you've done that yourself, where you see someone being good and you get a little bit jealous. Well, that's what we can learn from this story, okay? So Daniel is this super good guy, praying all the time, like just pretty much perfect. Not quite, because I've only Jesus is perfect, but anyway. So these guys start to plot together and think, how can we catch Daniel out? How can we stop him being so good? And they come up with an idea, and they go to King Darius, and they say to the king, they trick the king, right? They say to the king, King Darius, right, you are just amazing. You are the best king in the land. You are the best person in the world. And the king's like, yeah, I am the best. I am the best. I am the best king. I am the best person. And they're like, exactly, king. You get it. So, king, we've had an idea. No one should ever pray to anyone that isn't you. You should be the only one. So I'm getting close because my drink's here. Not for dramatic effect. Sorry, one sec. I'll put it this. Yeah. All good. So anyway, they say to the king, everyone should pray to you. And only you. There should be no other gods. You should basically be the god for all these people because you are that good. So the king's like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Everyone praying to me. Everyone basically worshipping me because I'm the greatest. Yes, please. King Darius wants a bit of that. So King Darius decides to make this rule, and he puts the royal stamp on it, and it is now a rule that you cannot pray to any other god than to King Darius. Now, when Daniel hears the news, the first thing he does, he goes away, gets on his knees, he prays to God, and he thanks God. The Bible says he actually thanks God. That's one of the first things he does. He's not like, he thanks God. Now, the reason I think Daniel's side story, the reason I think Daniel isn't panicking, the reason I think he's able to thank God first, is that because Daniel prays 3 times a day to God, when bad things happen around him, he's already in such a good place with God that he trusts him, that he's not leaning on his own understanding like it says in that verse. He's not leaning on what's happening on the world, he's leaning on God straight away. Now, who knows that if you lean on something that's not very safe, you're going to fall over. So say I try to lean on a stack of books, those books are going to fall over. But if I try and lean on this wall, if the wall's been built properly, I'm not going anywhere. I'm leaning on the wall that's not going anywhere. And that's like God. I wasn't going to do this. This has just come to my head right now. When we lean on God, he's so solid, so good, so firm that it doesn't move. But when we try and lean on our own understanding, what's in our heads, I don't know why I did that. When we lean on what's in our own heads, we can fall, we can move because we don't know as much as God knows. But anyway, back to the story. Daniel goes off to pray. Obviously, these supervisors, these other guys, have set all this plan in motion to trick Daniel and to catch him out. So what they do is they follow Daniel, they watch him, they wait until he prays, and then they run straight to King Darius. And they go, King Darius, they trick him again, right? Sneaky. They go, King Darius, didn't you make a rule that no one could pray to any other god than you? And they're like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, King Darius is like, yeah, I did make that rule. You're right. Well done. Well remembered. And they're like, the problem is, King, we found someone praying. We found someone praying, not to you, to another god. And King's like, what? No praying. No praying to anyone but me. Ugh. He's angry, right? Angrier than I am right now. Ugh. He wasn't a dog. I don't know what I'm doing. He was angry, okay? So he said, find me this person. Who is it? And they say, King, it's Daniel. And immediately the king is upset. Immediately he knows he's been tricked into making this rule by the other supervisors. But the rules are the rules. So what he does is he leaves it for a day. He tries to think of a way to save Daniel, a way to get him out of this trap. You see, the punishment for praying to another god, the punishment the king set in place, is that anyone found praying to another god would be thrown into a pit with lions in it and eaten. Okay, pretty harsh, to be honest. Pretty harsh. So anyway, the king's thinking all day. He can't think of anything. Pardon me. The supervisors come back. That just came out of nowhere. The supervisors come back to the king and they're like, King, it's been the day. Now's the time. Throw him into the pit. Feed him to the lions. Feed him to the lions. Right? That's what he decided. That's what they say. So the king's like, yeah, I can't save Daniel. So the king calls for Daniel, takes him to this lion's den, this pit with the lions in it. And he says to Daniel, may your God protect you. And then they throw him in. The king didn't throw him in. The guards or the supervisors, they throw Daniel into the pit of lions. And that's the end of the story. No, that's not really the end of the story. That is not the end of the story. The king goes off to bed and he doesn't eat, he doesn't drink, there's no party. Normally kings would have some sort of entertainment in the evening, like a jester who can juggle, or just whatever, something really cool. They didn't have Netflix back then, so there's no Netflix. You know what I mean? No Fortnite, no Nintendo Switch, no tablets. Well, they had tablets, but different kind of tablets. Never mind, that was a bad joke. Sorry guys, that was very disappointing from me. Anyway, where were we? Oh, the king's gone to bed. He can't sleep. He's up. He wakes up early in the morning. He runs out of the palace down to the lion's den. He gets the guards to move the throne away, and he's like, Daniel. Now, I know what you're thinking. Daniel's already been eaten by the lions. But the king shouts, Daniel. I think you can already guess what's coming. And Daniel shouts back, here I am, my king. The king's like, Daniel, get out of there, come back up. You're not dying, you're not being eaten by lions today. And Daniel's like, the Lord, my God, protected me. He closed the mouths of the lions. Wow. He closed the mouths of the lions. I always move my hands when I talk. I don't know why. I don't think I could do it just like this. He closed the mouths of the lions. Anyway, how amazing is this story? Daniel prayed 3 times a day, did everything right, and things out of his control happened that forced him into a lion's den. Scary, right? That's like life sometimes. We do everything we can to do what's right, everything we can to have a good relationship with God, everything we can to be good people. And then things in the world happen that we can't control, that we don't really want, that make us sad or angry or upset. Daniel did nothing wrong. He did everything that was right. He prayed, he was good working for the king, that good he was going to get promoted. Daniel was brilliant. And people made sure that he was thrown into a lion's den. And what's really important is that even with everything that was going on with Daniel, even with the fact that he was in a den with lions, I'd have been like screaming. Ah! Probably louder than that, to be fair. The lions would have probably eaten me just to shut me up, if I'm being honest. But because Daniel didn't lean on his own understanding. Because if he'd leant on his own understanding, he'd have gone in thinking, I'm going to get eaten tonight. I'm going to get eaten. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. He'd have been so scared and so worried, but he didn't. He leaned on God's understanding, which is unmovable. And his understanding of God is that God is a protector, that God loves him and looks after him. And that's what God does for us. So even when bad things happen, even when things happen that we can't control, even when there's things we want to change, we need to remember that God is always there, always protecting us and always going to make the best out of any bad situation we face. God might not bring the bad situations. I believe that God doesn't bring the bad situations, but God helps us out of the bad situations and he has a plan for us after them. Our memory verse for this series, I've not got any actions for it yet because I wanted you guys to help me out, is Proverbs chapter 3 verse 13 to 14. No, we don't do it like that. 13 to 14. There we go. Let's go again. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 13 to 14. Here's how it goes. It says, happy is the person who finds wisdom, and happy is the person who gets understanding. Wisdom is worth more than silver and gold. Crazy, right? Wisdom is worth more than silver and gold. We all need a bit of wisdom. What is wisdom? You might be wondering. Wisdom is kind of difficult to explain, to be honest. Wisdom is not learning things, so knowledge, but not just learning them, using what we learn to be better, to not make the same mistakes. So it's like, if every day I walk to work and there's like a rain dripping off a pipe, if I walk under that pipe every day and go, oh, I got wet, I know that that pipe's dripping. That's knowledge. I know that it's dripping. But if I keep walking under the same pipe every day and let that drip get on my head every day, I've learned something, but I've not applied it. I've not done anything with it, so I've not yet got wisdom. But if when I'm walking to work the next day, I go, oh, there's a drip there, and I go around the pipe, then I'm using that wisdom. Now that's just a small example, but that's how life can work. That's how wisdom works. Okay, it's taking what we learn and using it to help us. So it's taking the bits of the Bible that we learn, the Bible stories that we hear, and then going, oh, that's not just a nice story, but that's something I can use today to help me to live a better life, to be happier, because wisdom is worth more than silver and gold. Gold doesn't make us happy. Wisdom can help us to find happiness. Thank you so much for listening. Sorry that it's been so long. I just had to intro the series and blah, blah, blah. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope the wisdom helps you, and I hope you enjoyed me screaming. We've now got the most amazing craft with the one, the only, the wonderful. It's Cal. See you soon.
Happy Sunday, everyone! I am so excited for craft today because today's story was one of my favourites. It was all about a boy called Daniel and a lion. So I was wondering if you guys could guess what craft we're going to be making today. So you've got 5 seconds to shout out some ideas of what you think we could be making. Okay, so shout them out nice and loud so I can hear. Let's go. If you guessed that we were making a lion mask, you are right. I am so excited to make this rawsome lion mask with you guys today. So keep on watching the video to find out how. So for today's craft, we're going to need a few things. I've got a paper plate, a plain piece of A4 paper, I've got a Pritt stick and a pair of scissors. I've got a straw, which is going to be the stem of our mask, but if you haven't got a straw, you could also just use a pencil. And I've got my coloured markers, but really I'm just going to be needing these lion-y colours. So, first thing we're going to do is colour in the piece of paper. And like I said, we're going to be using these colours, which remind me of the colours of a lion. And I'm going to do things a bit differently today. I am going to magically colour in my piece of paper. Okay? 3, 2, 1. Bam! Finished already. And now we're going to start cutting it out. And we need to cut them out into kind of like rough squares maybe. Now, if you had some tissue paper at home in these kind of colours, you could also use tissue paper. However, I don't have any tissue paper, so I'm making my own little lion collage pieces. But you could also use tissue paper if that is what you have. Just like that. And remember, if you're not confident using scissors, get a grown-up to help you so that you don't hurt yourself. And now, next step is to
cut out the inner section of our paper plate. Now, again, this can be quite tricky, so you are going to need a grown-up to help you start it off, otherwise you might really cut your fingers. Perfect. And now, the next thing to do is to start sticking all of our lining coloured bits of paper around the outside, and we can do different colours kind of like together. We don't have to do all the same orange all together, if you get what I mean. So grab your glue stick and start doing that. And just like that, I am done. I even have some spare bits left over. Brush them off to the side. Next step is to get your straw. Now, I want my straw to be a bit shorter. And then we're going to flip it over and we're going to glue it, or you could sellotape it down. Can't find my sellotape, I'll have to glue it. Just flatten that bit. I'll stick it there. Just take a second to dry. Let's just stick this bit over it. See if I'll hold it in. Enough for me to just like that. There we go. And that is our lion mask all finished. I hope you guys enjoyed today's craft as much as I did. And if you make your own lion mask at home, don't forget to send us a video to icon.goo of you giving us your best lion impression. I can't wait to see them all, and I'll see you next week. Bye everyone.
Hey Goo kids, that is unfortunately, I know it's really sad, but that is all we've got. But wipe away those tears, because we're going to be back next week with even more games, even more worship, even more craft, even more message. It's gonna be amazing. And you know what? I absolutely love this week. Today was the best Goo Online we've ever had. Like, anyway, it has been awesome to be with you guys today, and I can't wait to see you guys next